Take a moment to look at the world around you. We often forget that we're living in a period of innovation and acceleration that would have seemed like pure sorcery to our great grandparents. In the last 80 years, humanity has not just moved forward, we have leapt into an entirely different reality. In 1945, the first general purpose electronic computer, ENIAC, occupied an entire room and could barely manage basic arithmetic. Today, we carry more processing power in our pockets than it took to govern the entire Apollo 11 mission that landed on the moon in 1969. We didn't stop at the stars, though. In 1953, we unraveled the double helix of DNA, and by 2003, we had mapped the entire human genome. We've turned once deadly diseases into historical footnotes. Polio was effectively neutralized in 1955, and smallpox was eradicated from the face of the earth by 1980. The speed of our connection has been even more dizzying. In 1947, the transistor was born. By 1991, the World Wide Web was open to us all. We went from waiting weeks for a letter to arrive to transmitting high-definition video across the Atlantic in milliseconds. Every nation, every corner of society, every industry, it seems, has been swept up in this relentless tide of innovation. Or so we would like to believe. In 1953, Joe Bamford gave us the first backhoe loader. In 1958, the Keller brothers effectively birthed the skid steer loader. By 1962, Richard Smalley had unveiled the first iteration of what we now recognise as the mini excavator. It was an era of genuine mechanical pioneers. And then, nothing. The innovation didn't just stall. It's like we decided we'd reached the pinnacle of equipment achievement in the mid-20th century. Seriously, when did we last see the arrival of anything truly revolutionary in our sphere? We talk about demolition robots as if they're the vanguard of the future, but Brock's been selling those for more than 40 years. High-reach excavators, they've been munching on the skyline for well over 3 decades. There have been some great machines along the way, of course, but by and large, they are purely extensions of what's gone before. The latest iteration of the JCB backhoe loader is packed to the hilt with technology and systems to make the operator more comfortable and more productive. But externally, the overall form factor would be recognisable to Joe Bamford, who invented it 80-odd years ago. The latest range of Volvo articulated trucks set a new benchmark for construction haulage. But aesthetically, they've barely strayed from the gravel Charlie machine that they unveiled back in 1966. The Cat 793 is an amazing mining truck, but at its heart, it's basically a 777 on steroids. And the 777 was launched in 1974. Now, to be fair, the manufacturers haven't been entirely idle. They've added layers of digital intelligence. They use GPS to dig within a millimetre and telematics to monitor engine health from half a world away. We're even standing at the edge of the threshold of a green revolution, replacing diesel with hydrogen and electricity, or possibly a combination of the two. But let's not mistake a change in diet for a change in species. You can power it with the breath of the stars, but it's still just a bucket on a stick. It has the same reach, the same cycle times, and the same mechanical and physical constraints as its diesel-chugging grandfather. This disconnect is staggering because the world we're building has changed beyond recognition. We're currently locked in a vertical arms race, pushing our skylines into the clouds, soon to crown the first 1 kilometre tall structure. We use autonomous drones and digital twins to manage projects with godlike precision. The planning is digital, the design is futuristic. But the execution? We're essentially using a supercomputer to tell a man with a very expensive 1950s shovel where to dig. When we look back at the giants like Bamford or Smalley, they weren't just engineers, they were explorers, kind of. Because when man reached the source of the Amazon or the summit of Everest, they didn't just stop, they built submersibles to explore the deep, and they built rockets to explore the stars. But in our industry, we found our source of the Nile in the 1960s, and then we set up camp. We reached our summit, and instead of looking for the next peak, we've spent the next 60 years perfecting the tent. We're a species that went from the first powered flight to landing reusable rockets on drone ships in less than a century. Surely it's time we stopped asking how to make the cab more comfortable. It's time we started asking what comes after the bucket. Because while the rest of humanity is busy exploring the stars, we're still down here in the dirt, clutching the tools our grandfathers left behind, waiting for a revolution that we completely forgot to start.